Hello and welcome to day 6 on the trail of the Cotswold Way. Today I'm actually in Dowdeswell Church, going to be making my way down to the car park, what's it, Woodland Trust car park here today, and we'll then be walking up to Cleeve Hill and Cleeve Cloud, looking at the spectacularly high Cleeve Common. I can't remember the exact height, I know it's over 1,000 feet, I'll put the exact stats, drop them in below on the old subtitles there. How are you all today? Hope you're all well. I'm certainly readying up for a big long walk today, looking forward to the views across the edge of the Cotswold Escarpment and across all of the commons, so why not join me and we'll come along and do that. Just a quick word though about preparation. You've probably just seen me put my old boots on there. Also got the old socks over the trousers. There's a reason for that. You probably think, why do walkers do that? Very, very good reason. It's to stop, well, one of the reasons is to stop ticks. If you tuck your trousers legs inside, then I mean here the churchyard here has got very, very long grass. Ticks are a continual problem and they can spread Veals disease, so precaution to make sure you're covered up on the walk, and also when you finish the walk to check your skin regularly as well for ticks, because they can cause nasty diseases. Enough of that, enough of ticks. Let's head on to the walk and hope you enjoy it. Just point this out, if you're doing the direction from Cleeve Cloud down to Dowdeswell Reservoir, is this slightly tricksy bit here where you have to turn right. You'd be coming along this lane here after you'd left the wood, Dowdeswell Nature Reserve, which we're going to go up to now. The lane continues around here and then it does a sudden left up there to the main A40. Doesn't continue down there. The only sign is on the gate post there, but of course if there's no post here on the left, you could easily just carry on walking in the wrong direction. We set off now properly. We're heading up past Dowdeswell Wood, which is also a nature reserve. It's a slightly unusual arrangement here. I know back in Devon and Cornwall we have the South West Lakes Trust, who run in conjunction with South West Water to manage the reservoirs and the nature reserves around these parts. Here it's slightly a different arrangement. The nature reserve here is managed by the Gloucestershire Wildlife Trust, which was set up in 1961, and it was under the instigation of one Sir Peter Scott, who also, you may recall, set up the Wildlife and Wetlands Trust, the WWT, which set off in Slimbridge, also here in Gloucestershire. There's now number of WWT sites dotted around the UK. I actually went to one in Northern Ireland a few years ago. I was very lucky to be able to get to one there. Stayed near the WWT reserve at Castle Espy on the banks of Strangford Loch. Climbing up quite steeply now, as we tested by the path behind me, and this will continue for most of our distance today until we reach the summit at Cleeve Common. It's a bit of a mixed, interesting mix of names up there, and before I come on to that I need to mention something else to you, and that is that reputedly the woods here are supposed to be haunted by a gentleman who's usually seen in the evenings. Well, thankfully it's not in the evening at the moment. It's just gone 9 o'clock in the morning, and as we start our walk, so I haven't seen any ghosts around today. Been very quiet here. As you saw, I started the filming at Dowdeswell Church, and that's about 3/4 of a mile from where I've now parked my car, but I thought I'd just start that location because it's nice and quiet and scenic. There isn't much to see in the car park itself, although I'm grateful that the Woodland Trust have provided it there. Yes, the names are all a bit confusing as we get. Obviously we've got Cleeve Common, which is the high plateau at the top of the Cotswold Escarpment. It's supposed to be a little bit barren and bleak, a bit more Dartmoor-like than Cotswold-like. I've never been, so I'm really looking forward to this. You've also got Cleeve Hill. Sorry, I got a fly on my hand. Sorry about that. Cleeve Hill, and it also goes under the other name of Cleeve Cloud, which causes a bit of confusion. To add to the confusion, Cleeve Hill is also a village. So we have the village which is just below Cleeve Hill, the hill, if you follow me, which is also called Cleeve Cloud. Are you with me? Hopefully it'll all become a bit clear. There is a triangulation post which indicates the things we can see from the views when we get up there, so we'll have a look at that. And again, I'll put the telescopic lens on so we can see right in the distance. It started off a bit misty, cloudy this morning. Temperature at the moment is about 18, 19 degrees. I think it might get up to 20, 21 later on. We'll see how we go. It's dry. Been a few sunny breaks so far. Hopefully brighten up a little bit more as we go on. Oh, here at Dowdeswell Reservoir, or up from the reservoir should I say, at Dowdeswell Nature Reserve. Thought we'd play another game of Name That Tree. So, name that tree. This one here. So it's a small shrub-like tree, or small tree. A bit bigger than the one we had at the end, the birch that we had at the end of the last vlog. It's got 4 main branches rising from it. The height of it is probably about 8 to 9 foot tall, and these are the leaves. Now I've already identified it, but I'll show you the leaf. That is the leaf. Now my first thought when I saw that was a number of things. I thought it's sycamore-like, but it's not a sycamore because the leaf is too small. Sycamore is a very common tree that the seeds are poisonous to horses, so if you have any sycamores nearby your garden or anything, just be aware of that. The ones with they're like helicopters. When the seeds disperse in the tree, they spin down like many helicopters. That's how you know it's a sycamore. So this leaf is a bit like a sycamore, but it's smaller. So I thought, well, a sycamore is part of the maple family of trees, so this must be a similar family. So it must be some type of maple, but I didn't know which one. So I got up my guidebook, the one I showed you last time, the Pocket Guide to Trees, and there's lots of broadleaf trees in here, lots of different types of maples. Some are actually native to the UK, but it has included in this guide. We've got Balcombe maple, Pierre David's maple, snakebark, Cappadocian, full moon maple, and so it goes on. Lowell's maple, but one of the commonest, watch this one is the field maple, Acer campestre, also known as hedge maple. Well, that makes sense because it is actually in a hedge, or rather it's the end of the wood. It's the wood that borders this path here, which makes up the Cotswold Way, because we've got open fields just the other side of us here. So it is effectively in a hedge or bordering. Got a great big tall tree next to it, is a large beech tree right next to it, huge tree here. So it's dwarfed by that one. But yeah, that is the tree. I've identified it and named that tree part 2, field maple. Today is about 6.5 miles or so. Take us up to the top of Cleeve Common. Obviously that depends, exact measurement depends on where we finish. There is a car park near there apparently. Come to the map, I'll seek that out, and that'll make that my end point for today. So that'll be my starting point for vlog number 7 here on the Cotswold Way. Yeah, so about 6.5 miles, which is, it should work out all right because I'm doing a lot of climbing this morning. So by the time I've had my lunch, it should be downhill all the way back to the car. Now I did make a promise about using green transport as much as I can in vlog number 1 on the Cotswold Way. I still intend to do that, however it's very, very difficult. Certainly what I am going to do is the end ones that I do, that is as I approach Chipping Campden and as I approach Bath, they will definitely be on public transport. In fact, they'll be on the train. Well, train and bus with Chipping Campden. Chipping Campden used to have a railway station. It's on the Cotswold line that runs between, runs between Worcester and Oxford. There is a tunnel there as well, I believe. Again, the station closed in the 1960s, beaching of course the new station now being Moreton in Marsh, and you can catch a bus from there to Chipping Campden. so I'll be going to fro that. They are hopefully considering reopening Chipping Campden station again. I think it's about half a mile from the town itself, which would be really good for making things a bit greener in terms of transport in Gloucestershire. I don't know if the mic is picking up that noise. I've just been walking through the woodland and I heard this noise. I hope you can hear it. I thought it was raining. It's not. It's actually these. Yeah, it's the good old National Grid. Very heavy pylons crossing the landscape here. Makes a terrific din. In terms of it literally sounds like rain, but obviously it's the high voltage cables passing through the air. The footpath behind me, well, and in front as well, see that, just twist the camera around, it seems to be very overgrown. I've since I've left Dowdeswell Reservoir, the car park there, walked thus far, probably maybe walked a mile and a half now, I suppose. I haven't seen one other person. It looks like this is probably one of the least used sections on the entire Cotswold Way. I'm guessing it's because it doesn't go, apart from Cleeve Common, it doesn't pass through any villages. We are really out in the wilds now. Probably the most remote I've been on the walk so far. But yeah, interesting and nice. But apart from the fact there's thistles and nettles trying to invade the path. So if you come this way, during the summer, perhaps bring a machete to hack your way through. Looking at the field on the opposite side of the lane, and it is a wildflower meadow. Now I think this might be the one, if you cast your mind back to, there was a couple of gentlemen I bumped into, where was it? Charlton King's Common, and they mentioned that there was a wildflower meadow at Dowdeswell, and I thought I'd come across it last time, but I think it could be this one. There is one on this side as well, but it's not, there's those dreaded cables again, not so colourful as that one, and unfortunately from this point here I can't gain access to it, but I'll see if I can get a bit closer, because that lane is fenced off. It's a private road to a farm. It's Middle Colgate Farm, nothing to do with the toothpaste, I don't think so anyway. And yeah, the meadow's over here. But obviously I can't gain access to the field because it does actually say private property, so we can't get in there, unfortunately. But looks stunning, and I guess the field has been laid fallow there to help refertilise the soil. This is our path ahead at the moment. So we're going to a really steep, over 1,000-foot hill. No indication of that at the moment, which is really a story. The only slight clue, probably won't pick it up on the camera, I can just make out tops of two television or radio transmitters which live on Cleeve Hill, so we know we're going in the right direction, but we can't actually see it at the moment, which is interesting. Yes, our route ahead is still very, very thick and dense at this point. And again, still not seen one solitary human being on the route so far. Struck by this beautiful avenue of beech trees on both sides of the road, both ends of the road. All the way down there, and our track towards Cleeve Common is a bit further down, and then it's on the right following the line of the trees. Struggling with my anxiety levels at the moment. Very anxious yesterday about lots of things going on in my head, thoughts, and I was getting a little bit stressed about doing the walk today, and although of course I really enjoy walking and indeed photography. I suppose I'm thinking that I'm conscious that I really need to do a good job on the Cotswold Way. It's my big project at the moment, and I'm hoping to make each vlog the best that I can possibly get it, and I suppose because of that I'm setting myself up to fall in a way, and I think I should let it go more with the flow, so to speak, in terms of how things roll on the day. And one of the things I've discovered with the vlogs like this is, although you can prepare, you can research, you can read up about the route, a little bit about the history and the nature of the area. Each day will be different. If you had 10 different YouTubers doing the same route, they would each come up with 10 completely different vlogs. But obviously, but some of that's to do with their personality imprint on it, but also to do with the different aspects of the walk that they would indeed pick up. Oh, that's an interesting gate. Oh, it's saying Cleeve Hill, 2.5 miles, so we continue along this way. Little sign there, closed, no bikes, no 4x4. It doesn't make you feel exactly welcome, but obviously I'm not a 4x4 or a bike, and I can see why they would need to limit access of those particular vehicles onto the common, because they would cause a lot of damage to the terrain. So yeah, so I'm struggling with my anxiety, my depression levels. They're not exactly on an even keel, but I am managing to function despite the crises I've had and setbacks I've had over the past few weeks. And this project and my other vlogs are keeping me going at the moment. But yeah, anxiety levels, I'm trying to keep them in check. Walking certainly helps with that, particularly being out in the country. That helps to calm things down, but I was very stressed yesterday. You probably relate to this if any of you have moved home fairly recently, is the frustration of contacting all the agencies and bodies that need to be contacted to tell them of your change of address. And obviously I've moved fairly frequently over the past few years, and it never seems to get any easier. You go online to try and change your address, you think it'll be a 2 or 3 minute matter, and I think I've got some like 45 different agencies to contact. That's let alone other people that know me. So I'm still working my way through yet. 2 or 3 of the websites yesterday, they seem to be having technical difficulty. You change your address and it wasn't accepting it. So you then go on the line, ring them up, and you just can't get through. Unexpected high call volume. That seems to be the commonest message you get when you ring any agency or company these days. It seems to be getting a rather thin and tiresome excuse, I think. But yeah, very frustrating doing all those change of addresses. Hopefully I'll finish at some point next week. But yeah, anxiety levels a little bit high up. I can feel myself feeling a little bit high palpitations, that sort of thing. And oh, just swallowed a fly. That's about the 3rd one today. That's the density of flies. Thankfully they're not horse flies. But yeah, there's a lot of them around at the moment. Really annoying a little bit, but beautiful countryside now. Now I can see in front of me our destination, so I'll just pan the camera around. Cleeve Hill, Cleeve Common, that is where we're headed. Very different change of landscape now since we come through that gate. The rock is exposed, the limestone rock that we've mentioned so many times on the Cotswold Way. Now definitely been beneath my feet, and the escarpment ridge is becoming self-evident, and that'll become clear as we get to the summit. In actual fact, it's not as steep as I thought it would be. The steepest section is the one which is quite hidden. It's the first bit as you leave Dowdeswell. That's a little bit challenging, especially very first thing before you've even broke into a sweat on the walk. And so yeah, it's a bit of a shock to the system first thing in the morning, that climbing out of Dowdeswell. But as it goes on, it flattens out and then it starts to climb again, as I say, but it's not climbing so steeply. And of course it's going to be downhill all the way back at the end for me, at the end of the walk. But obviously the vlog will end when I reach the summit, but we'll be doing lots of filming when we do that, and showing you lots of bits and pieces about the nature and the other pieces that there are to see up here on Cleeve Common. We have a lovely piece of heathland stretching around us, just seeing a buzzard over there. Glorious views across the vale. Can't quite see the Malverns at the moment, going into Worcestershire. It's a little bit hazy, but we're now north of Cheltenham, and the next town that we will come to on the walk. It won't be today, it'll be on the next vlog, number 7, where we'll be walking from here to the beautiful town of Winchcombe. But the top here of the common is very Cotswold-like scenery. Obviously the views are, we've seen those views before, similar views at Painswick Beacon and indeed Haresfield Beacon. But up here where it's quite rugged, it's not quite Dartmoor ruggedness, but it's not the sort of tea shop and honey-coloured stone Cotswolds that you perhaps might be used to. And obviously we will see more of that when we go through places like Stanton, Stanway and Broadway, and indeed Chipping Campden. But here, yeah, it is pretty rugged. The paths are quite rubbly, as you can see. Sorry, that's shaky camera work there, but you get the idea. Yeah, so you have to watch your tread. It's a very different terrain to what we had when we first set out, and indeed the fine trees that we had have now disappeared. We have a few dotted around the landscape, but our tree cover has gone. We're starting to head way above the tree line. That's Cheltenham down there. We'll look at that in more detail as we get to the summit. But yeah, very different feel to now. You certainly feel like you've climbed some height, and it's a very different atmosphere altogether. The other people I've seen so far were a group of cyclists where I stopped to have a cup of coffee, where the narrow path met the road. It was 4 cyclists coming down, heading down that narrow path where it's overgrown. That's the only people I've seen on the route since I left Dowdeswell Reservoir, what's some 2.5 hours ago now, and what's probably about 5 miles ago. So yeah, it's remote, very remote feel. It's extraordinary to think that just down there is a town with a population of what, Cheltenham, something like 90,000 people, but up here no one, literally no one at all. Now we've just entered a portion of Cleeve Common called Prestbury Hill Common, and in fact this part of the common is managed by the Butterfly Conservation Charity. My relatives and friends Heather and Chris belong to that charity, and I've just found a wonderful seat. I'm actually going to stop here for a coffee and to see how we rank this seat, to see have a look out for butterflies. I didn't bring my butterfly book with me today. I did bring my wildflower book and my tree book, so we'll have a look at tree spotting later on in the vlog as well. But yeah, this seat commemorates the life of Rick Charles, who was a Cotswold Way volunteer warden and obviously helped maintain the paths here. So thank you, Rick. You've done a fabulous job. Really enjoying the walk here. We've got wonderful views now that really are starting to open up across Cheltenham. So I'm going to have a bit of a breather, have a coffee, and then I'll show you some more of the views. And if I get some shots of butterflies, I will fit those in and I'll try and identify them, put up the subtitles as well. Okay, see you in a bit. Have a particularly fine view of Cheltenham Racecourse from here at Prestbury Common at the moment. Grand view of the Grand Stand there, if you like. Obviously that's home of the Cheltenham Gold Cup and many other festivals, racing festivals that take place throughout the year. That there is Church Downhill. We've come across that one before as we have been making our way around the edge of the Cotswold Escarpment here. And just to the left of Church Downhill we have Robinswood Hill. Now Robinswood Hill, just like Crickley Hill, is also managed by Gloucestershire Gloucestershire Wildlife Trust, and it has a visitor centre there. Obviously it's got nature reserves and interpretation boards. I believe they'd also do talks, and they've also got, well, certainly they used to have a rooms and support facilities for local schools for nature studies. This is a terrific section of the walk here. So we're on Cleeve Common. We're still on the Bill Wiley Butterfly Conservation Trust Reserve. And it's just a fabulous walking country. When I come up from Dowdeswell, we had that really narrow bit by the National Grid power lines humming away and the grass and the flies. But here we've got a nice open path. You can see how wide the path is here. We're in a bit of a gully as well, so you've got nature all around you. No flies, lots of butterflies, which is great, and lots of birds as well, and beautiful bird song. There we go. This is a wonderful stretch of the Cotswold Way, possibly apart from the views across Haresfield Beacon and Painswood Beacon, one of the finest stretches that I've been on so far. Really enjoying it. Seen an explanatory sign now, one of the Butterfly Conservation Trust signs. It said that this part of the trust, this part of the reserve is called Happy Valley, and so that seems really appropriate. It is. It's joyous. I think the sign was put up a couple of years ago. It says it was apologising for the sparse terrain because they had removed some invasive plants and some of the gorse to stop it spreading too much across the natural heathland and grassland to improve the biodiversity for the bird life and also of course the butterflies. That was probably put up a couple of years ago because it's all grown back now. It's looking very green and resplendent. Just superb. Can't fault it. Passed through lots of orchids there. I'll drop a couple of photos in. Good to see them. I've been started seeing them in the Cotswolds. I think it was end of May, and we're now heading into mid-July, and they're still out in force, which is fantastic. So maybe another 2 or 3 weeks for them to be out in flower. So if you're looking for orchids, now's your last chance over the next couple of weeks or so. The vast expanse of Cleeve Common is now behind me, as you can see, barren and windswept. It extends for 1,000 acres or 3 square miles. Cleeve Common is managed by an autonomous local charity or trust, the Cleeve Common Trust, and they manage the site. It is very popular with walkers, people with model aircraft, golfers, and people that just come up here to enjoy the stunning scenery and looking across the edge of the Cotswold Escarpment, which we'll look at in more detail in a moment. So that's the range of the Malverns, which we've seen a few times before, and it is a bit hazy today. I do apologise for that. Trying to do the best I can with the views, and I hope to be over there in a few weeks' time. We're catching the train to do some walks from Great Malvern Station up on towards Worcestershire Beacon. So then it works down to Herefordshire Beacon, across towards the Herefordshire town of Ledbury, and then you should be able to make out, which is a familiar viewpoint by now because we've seen it so many times, with its distinctive clump of trees, hopefully just coming into view now. I believe there it is. That is May Hill, and just to the right of the May Hill there, you might be able to make out, that is very faintly there. See if I can just zoom in, get it any clearer. Let's have a look. That is Hay Bluff. It's right over towards the town of Hay-on-Wye, famous for its books festival. It is actually just inside Wales, just over the border, but right on the Herefordshire border. But as I say, it's famous for its books, and that is out towards Hay Bluff, right there in the distance. One thing I would say about the Cotswold Way at this point is it's keep your head up for the posts, because the way suddenly diverts round to the right or round to the left, so keep looking out for the posts. It is pretty well marked. Sorry, tricksy bit here. And you should find the post. Failing that, just look for the highest point, Cleeve Cloud, and you won't be far wrong. But it does cross over. There's lots of paths tracking diagonally across the Cotswold Way, and I say it suddenly does then diverge away from the escarpment to the right or to the left. So just look out for that. But other than that, it is pretty well marked. Still a very enjoyable walk here. Evidence of quarrying, you probably picked that up from where I'm walking behind. Look at the view behind me, you can see that evidence of lots of quarrying activity for the precious limestone for building in these parts. I'd like to give a big shout out to all my new followers and new subscribers. I've picked up a few recently, thank you, and welcome to West Country Wanderings. So I put up a vlog, one of my short bites. If you don't know my channel that well, I do longer size videos, which are usually about 30 to 40 minutes long. And I do shorter 5-10 minute ones, which I call short bites, which briefly explore an area or highlight a particular feature here in the West Country. And I did one a few days ago, just in the town where I'm living at the moment. There's a garden there, and it's called Old Chapel Garden. It's recently been restored, and it's attracted quite a bit of interest. I think it's my third most watched video. Just to also let you know that I've also grouped my videos together by sections now to make them easier to find. If you want to Look what else I've done. So they're grouped together by county. So we've got counties Gloucestershire, Devon and Cornwall, and also themed ones on railways. There'll be another one coming on canals, and I hope to produce content soon on places in Wiltshire, Dorset and Somerset, so that'll be coming up, so that'll be a separate section covering those counties. There'll be a little bit in southern Worcestershire as well. May not be strictly in the West Country, but it's not far from my doorstep where I'm at the moment. But I've got relatives in Devon and Cornwall, so I will be producing regular content from those two counties as well as here in Gloucestershire. And now, and this is really exciting for me, I'm now come to the summit. We've come to the Ordnance Survey Trick Point and the topograph, which means we're at the summit of Cleeve Hill or Cleeve Cloud, whichever you prefer. And this is the highest point in Gloucestershire, so I feel a bit elated being up here because I'm born and bred in Gloucestershire and it's the first time I've ever been here, so a bit of tingles along the spine at the moment. We'll have a look at this in a little bit more detail. Up Trick Point. I'm familiar with this now. This is where the old theodolite, that's the word I'm looking for, theodolite was screwed in here. So we've got the Cotswold Way marker on here. It's usually a benchmark, yes there is, just around this side. On the surface, benchmark S5060, which is the grid reference for this point here at Cleeve Cloud. This is the trick point at the top of Cleeve Hill, Cleeve Cloud, and so we've got our favourite Payne's beacon. I will take a photo. I might have to play around with it because it's not very well engraved, it's quite faint, but Payne's beacon off in that direction, which is approximately 11 miles, and then we've got Leghampton Hill, which is 5 miles that way. Remember we're continued across from there. And then we've got a favourite, Mayhill, which is 18 miles. So just round the other side we have Lickey Hills. If you've ever taken a train up towards Birmingham, there used to be banker engines, going back a long time now, the steam engines take them up the Lickey Hills towards Birmingham New Street. So yeah, they're 30 miles away. And the next time we're going to visit, which is after Winchcombe, will be Broadway. 10 miles to go on that one, and Winchcombe in a straight line is 2.5 miles, but it's going to be further as we do it on the Cotswold Way. And Sudeley Castle, which is something we're going to be looking at in more detail as well. I'll tell you the history about that. That's also about 2.5 miles as the crow flies from this point here. So from the top of here at Cleeve Cloud on Cleeve Common overlooking Cheltenham here in fabulous Gloucestershire, I bid you goodbye for Cotswold Way vlog number 6. Please subscribe and hit the bell to be informed when Cotswold Way part 7, which will take us from here right down towards the fantastic town of Winchcombe. Never been to Winchcombe, it's worth an explore. So we're going to have a look at Winchcombe. If we've got time when we go to Winchcombe, we'll also have a look at the steam railway at Winchcombe station, which is on the Gloucestershire-Warwickshire Railway, and I'll tell you more all about that on that vlog then as well. Hope you've enjoyed it today. If you have, please consider a like, perhaps a comment, or maybe a share on social media to one of your friends or family. It'd be really appreciated if you could do that. In the meantime, look after yourselves, take care, all the best, and see you all again soon. Cheers. Bye bye for now.